If you've ever been labeled a fraud by your neighborhood HOA Karen when you were quietly fighting a real progressive disease, just to keep your home, hit that like button and subscribe right now. You're not going to want to miss what happened next. My name is Elena Vasquez, and for 6 long years, the board of Sunnyvale HOA in our quiet Texas suburb told everyone I was faking my limb-girdle muscular dystrophy diagnosis for special treatment and to dodge their precious covenants. What they didn't know was that while they were sneaking cameras into community events to expose my so-called scam, I was quietly building a $118 million adaptive technology company that revolutionized mobility devices for disabled people everywhere. And the very video they filmed trying to prove I was lying, it became Exhibit A in their criminal trial for aggravated assault on a disabled person plus multiple ADA violations. But let me start from the beginning. I was 24 when the symptoms crept in like an uninvited guest. I've been a software engineer at a buzzing Austin startup, living my best life training for half marathons on weekends. Then my legs started buckling mid-run. My hands lost grip on the keyboard mid-code. Fatigue hit like a truck I couldn't outrun. 9 months, 17 specialists, and finally the diagnosis. Limb-girdle muscular dystrophy type 2A. Progressive, degenerative, incurable. My shoulder and hip muscles would keep weakening until full-time wheelchair use. Timeline uncertain, 5 years or 20. I thought moving back to the Sunnyvale gated community outside San Antonio would be smart. Close to familiar streets, lower stress. Big mistake. The moment I filed for a simple variance, a general ramp and wider driveway for future needs, the HOA President Karen Whitfield called me personally. Her voice dripped honey over the phone. "Oh, Elena, honey, we all have our little aches, but you look so healthy in your application photo. Are you sure this isn't just a clever way to skip the aesthetic standards? Property values are sacred here, dear." Her smile in the Zoom meeting was all teeth and zero warmth. Beside her sat her husband, Richard, the vice president, arms crossed, and her daughter, Victoria, the communications chair, already tapping notes like she smelled blood. Within 6 months, I needed a cane. Within a year, forearm crutches for anything longer than 10 steps. My neurologist called it moderate progression, not fast, not slow, just relentless. I had to quit my job. Typing became torture. Standing for meetings impossible. I settled in my new house on Maple Lane and requested the ramp again. Karen's response came via certified letter, denied. Temporary structures must match community palette. No exceptions for unverified claims. Unverified. That word stung like salt in an open wound. The sabotage started small. One morning, I woke to find my temporary ramp gone. Karen's compliance team, 2 retired neighbors with clipboards, had removed it at dawn, claiming it violated Section 4.2 visual harmony. I stood at my front door, legs trembling, crutches in the grass, and watched them load it into a truck. "It's for the neighborhood, Elena," Karen called from her golf cart, smiling like a saint. Everyone sacrifices for curb appeal. When I asked about ADA compliance, she waved a manicured hand. "We're not discriminating, sweetie. We're protecting values. You young people and your trendy victim cards." Victoria wasted no time. She launched a series in the HOA Facebook group titled "The Faker on Maple Lane." Old photos of me running marathons paired with captions, "This is what giving up looks like." Current shots of me using crutches. "Entitlement destroys property values, one fake disability at a time." Likes poured in. Neighbors I'd never met started side-eyeing me at the mailbox. "Heard you're faking it for free parking," one muttered. Karen's husband, Richard, loved to help by hiding my crutches during block parties. "You don't need these drama sticks, Elena. Toughen up like the rest of us." I'd fall on the sidewalk, and he'd chuckle, "See? If you tried harder, you wouldn't need props." The black humor of it all hit hardest at the monthly meetings. Karen would stand at the podium in her pastel blazer, lecturing about community standards, while her eyes glittered every time she mentioned my alleged condition. "We can't have special snowflakes demanding ramps that clash with our Mediterranean theme," she'd say to applause. I sat in the back, legs, aching crutches leaning against the chair, and bit my tongue. Inside, I was already planning. Because while they laughed and fined me $200 a month for non-compliant aids, I still had my coding skills, my tech contacts, and something new: lived experience navigating a world built for able bodies. I started designing in my bedroom late at night. Custom software for power chairs, 3D printable parts for affordable crutches. A navigation app crowdsourcing real accessibility data. My first prototype, a wheelchair controller costing $200 instead of $2,000, funded on Kickstarter, in 18 hours raising $340,000. That was the spark. I founded Adaptive Access Technologies right there in my HOA-defying garage. Mission: make mobility aids beautiful, functional, and cheap. No one knew. Not Karen, not Richard, not Victoria. I smiled politely at every meeting, paid my fines on time, and let them think they were winning. Little did they know I was already winning bigger than their silly covenants could ever touch. The HOA turned up the heat exactly as my company took off in secret. Karen formed a special fairness committee with Richard and Victoria as co-chairs. Their first order of business: weekly wellness checks on my property. They'd show up unannounced, clipboards ready. Just making sure you're not abusing variances we never granted, Karen would say with that fake concerned smile. One day, they found my new forearm crutches leaning against the garage. Victoria snapped photos for the group. Look, everyone, proof she only uses them when cameras are off. Classic faker move. The comments exploded. She's scamming us all for lower dues. Kick her out. I endured it silently. When Richard accidentally knocked my crutches into the street during neighborhood cleanup, I bit back the pain and crawled to retrieve them while he filmed on his phone. See, folks, she's perfectly capable if she really wants to be. My shoulder muscles screamed, but I didn't give them the satisfaction of tears. Instead, that night, I coded late, perfecting shock-absorbing grips for the next prototype. The irony tasted sweet. They mocked my tools while I built better ones for thousands. Within 6 months, Adaptive Access had 5 employees, 4 disabled like me. We landed contracts with medical suppliers. My flagship product, the Moda Chair, looked like premium tech, not hospital gear. Custom colors, ergonomic controls, $1,800 instead of $8,000. Sales hit 12,000 units in 18 months. The disability community embraced us because we designed from lived experience. I used my own crutches while testing. I felt every limitation and fixed it. Valuation climbed to $118 million. I bought my house outright, added hidden ramps that matched the HOA palette so perfectly Karen never noticed. On good days, I walked short distances. On bad days, I rolled in my own Moda Chair, smiling at the security cameras they'd installed for community safety. But the HOA never let up. Karen started a petition to revoke my membership, claiming my undocumented condition lowered property values by 2%. Victoria's videos went viral in local groups, 12,000 views, calling me a burden on the system. Extended neighbors I'd never spoken a messaged me, demanding I confess. You're ruining the aesthetic with your props, one wrote. The cruelty was almost funny. They filmed me falling once when Richard yanked a crutch as a joke during a block walk. Bruised ribs. Concussion from a pavement. Karen's response? Stop being dramatic, Elena. We're just encouraging self-reliance. That was 2 years ago. I stopped fighting for their belief and doubled down on the company. I connected with Dr. James Morrison, a neuromuscular specialist who'd seen Victoria's videos. He tracked me down. That footage isn't proof of faking Elena. It's textbook medical abuse. Your family know your board is documenting progressive deterioration and then causing more harm. He offered to testify anytime. I kept everything secret still. I needed to know if they'd treat me fairly without my success. Deep down, I already knew the answer, but I wanted them to prove it one final time. The annual HOA Thanksgiving potluck was Karen's idea. She posted in the group chat, This year we're doing a special theme. No excuses, no props. Everyone participates equally. Elena, that includes you. Leave the crutches at home or don't come. We need to see real effort for once. The rules were clear. No mobility aids allowed inside the clubhouse. It's about community spirit, not special treatment. I almost skipped it, but my lawyer Patricia Gomez convinced me otherwise. She'd been reviewing the archived videos. Elena, these clips show them physically interfering with your prescribed aids, mocking your falls, and filming injuries. It's assault. If they try it again at the potluck and film it themselves, we'll have everything. I prepared quietly. Hidden body camera legal in Texas. Phone recording. Fresh medical exam from DR. Morrison 2 days prior documenting my exact muscle strength. I arrive at the clubhouse with crutches. Karen met me at the door in her festive apron, smiling like a shark. Those stay outside, dear. Today we prove who's really committed to the neighborhood. Richard stood behind her arms crossed. Victoria already filming. Big day for exposure, Mom. She whispered loud enough for me to hear. I left the crutches in the car. The short walk inside already made my legs tremble, but I managed. The room was packed, 40 neighbors, holiday, music playing. The moment I sat, Karen clapped her hands. Everyone, Elena has graciously agreed to a prop-free evening. We're going to see if her condition is real or just another way to avoid HOA duties. Victoria's camera rolled. Today we get definitive proof, she announced to the crowd. Uncle Marco, a retired physical therapist, neighbor leaned in. Elena, your mom, Karen, says you can walk fine when motivated. True. I try to explain limb girdle, muscular dystrophy, hip and shoulder muscles failing, but Karen cut in. Stand up, dear. Show us. The room quieted. I stood, legs already shaking. Walk to the buffet table, no support, Richard ordered. I took 3 steps. My right leg buckled. I started falling. Richard grabbed my arm, yanking me upright roughly. Stop the act. Walk. For more steps, muscles screaming. Victoria narrated for her live stream. Watch, she's faking the shake. I collapsed hard, knee, shoulder, head hitting the tile. Pain exploded. Several neighbors gasped. Karen shouted, don't help her. This is her performance. I lay there gasping, unable to rise. Get up, Elena, stop playing victim. Karen hissed, standing over me. Richard grabbed both arms and hauled me up again. I collapsed instantly. He did a 3rd time. My ribs slammed into a chair, leg, sharp crack. Victoria zoomed in, laughing. Proof she's not even trying. That's when the doors burst open. Patricia Gomez strode, in lawyer badge ready. I'm Patricia Gomez, Elena's attorney, invoking immediate protective measures under Texas disabled adult abuse laws. No one touches her. Officer Davidson followed in uniform. San Antonio PD responding to assault on a disabled person. The room froze mid-gasp. Karen's smile cracked. Victoria lowered her camera, face pale. Patricia knelt beside me carefully. Elena, injuries? Knee, shoulder, ribs, head. I whispered, muscles failed completely. Officer called paramedics. Karen tried to spin it. This is ridiculous, she's faking for attention. Patricia cut her off cold. I've been monitoring the body cam audio for 45 minutes. I have you ordering her to walk without prescribed devices, your husband physically forcing her up despite her warnings, and your daughter filming collapses as proof she's lying. That's aggravated assault on a disabled person. She turned to Victoria. You've been documenting felony assault for 3 years, thinking it was exposure. Your videos are evidence now. Paramedics arrived, confirming total muscle exhaustion, a known muscular dystrophy complication. Bruising cracked, rib possible concussion. They loaded me onto a stretcher. DR. Morrison walked in right on cue. I'm DR. James Morrison, Elena's neurologist. I examined her 2 days ago. Her strength scores require forearm crutches for more than 10 steps. You forced over 30, then yanked her up after failure. That accelerates degeneration, causes microscopic tears. You didn't help her, you harmed her. Richard sputtered. She needs to try harder. Dr. Morrison's voice went ice. That's willful endangerment, not ignorance. Officer Davidson stepped forward. Mr. and Mrs. Whitfield and Victoria, I'm placing you under arrest for aggravated assault on a disabled person. Handcuffs clicked. Karen's perfect facade shattered. This is insane. We were helping the community. Officer corrected. You were assaulting her and filming it yourselves. Those videos you posted online? Archived. Today's live stream? Exhibit A. As they were let out, Patricia turned to the stunned crowd and flipped open her tablet. While you've been calling Elena a faker and finding her into oblivion, she's been building something extraordinary. The screen showed my company website, Adaptive Access Technologies, Elena Vasquez, founder and CEO. Gasps rippled. Valued at $118 million. She revolutionized affordable adaptive tech while you mocked her crutches. Patricia pointed at Karen. Remember when the HOA almost lost the community center to foreclosure 2 years ago? The anonymous investor who bought 60% of the debt and restructured payments? That was Elena. She saved your precious clubhouse while you filmed her falls and posted them for likes. Richard's eyes widened. You've been living in facilities she funded while tearing down her ramp and forcing her to walk until she broke ribs. Patricia held up the folder. 23 videos you posted showing her collapses. 14 documented injuries. 8 times you removed her crutches. 3 ER visits. All filmed by you as proof she was faking. All proof of systematic abuse. Victoria started crying. I thought I was exposing a liar. Patricia replied flatly. You were documenting felony assault for social media clout while your victim built a company that helps disabled people worldwide. She turned to the crowd. Texas law is clear. Aggravated assault on a disabled person, 2 to 20 years. We have body cam footage, 3 years of your own videos, medical records, and expert testimony. This case is airtight. Officer nodded. DA is going to love this. Perpetrators who filmed their own crimes? Gift wrapped. As the Whitfield were walked out in cuffs, I managed one last look from the stretcher. Neighbors who cheered Karen now stared horrified. Uncle Marco was crying. You taught me exactly who you were, I said, voice weak but steady. Every time you removed my ramp. Every time you filmed me falling. Every time you chose covenants over compassion. You show me I couldn't trust you with my vulnerability. So I built success without you. I helped thousands while you tried to prove one person was lying. Evidence beats denial. And your own videos? They beat everything. The ambulance doors closed. I spent 4 days in hospital. Steroids for muscle strain, cracked rib, confirmed grade 2 concussion, deep bruising. Dr. Morrison documented it all. The forced exertion set your progression back 6 to 12 months, Elena. Forcing dystrophic muscles causes damage that doesn't heal normally. While I recovered, Patricia filed everything. Within 48 hours, the Whitfields faced formal charges. Karen and Richard, aggravated assault, second-degree felony, reckless injury, evidence tampering. Victoria, assault, cyberbullying, distribution of abuse content. Bail hearing was brutal. The judge watched the body cam and Victoria's live stream. One of the clearest disability abuse cases I've seen. Bail $100,000 each. Immediate restraining orders. They couldn't pay. Sat in county jail 2 weeks until distant relatives scraped money. The story exploded online. HOA Karen board arrested after videos meant to expose faker became proof of assault. News clips showed full context, not their edited lies. Disability advocates flooded the HOA page. Karen's real estate side gig tanked. Richard lost his consulting clients. Victoria's influencer dreams died. But the best was yet to come. The trial lasted 3 days and felt like the longest satisfying movie ever. Courtroom packed with disability rights advocates, news cameras rolling. Patricia was a force. Day 1 medical evidence. Dr. Morrison testified 3 hours showing genetic tests, EMG scans, biopsy slides. Elena has documented progressive muscle disease. No amount of trying harder fixes it. Forcing unsupported walking after failure isn't tough love, it's medical harm. Day 2 the videos. Patricia played Victoria's 3-year compilation, then the potluck footage unedited. Jury watched me collapse. Richard yanked me up. Karen ordered close-ups of my fake fall. 2 jurors cried. The judge looked ready to explode. The defendants filmed themselves committing the crimes, thinking they were exposing fraud. They created evidence of felony assault. Day 3 character witnesses. My employees testified about my work ethic while managing the disease. Physical therapists showed injury logs. Uncle Marco described the potluck horror. Then me. I rolled in on my motor chair, legs too unreliable for crutches post-injury. I testified 2 hours explaining the diagnosis, the progression, the HOA sabotage. They didn't just doubt me, they prevented safe management. Removed prescribed devices, forced dangerous situations, filmed my suffering for clout. All while I build a company that helps thousands. They call me weak, a fake, or a burden. But I survived both the disease and their cruelty. Defense tried good intentions. We believed she was exaggerating. Patricia destroyed them. You had medical records, multiple doctor explanations, and still chose to film assaults? Closing arguments, 30 minutes each. Patricia's was fire. They wanted to prove Elena faked disability. They filmed 3 years of evidence. That evidence proved only their own cruelty. The potluck video shows aggravated assault captured by the perpetrators. Verdict is obvious. Jury deliberated 10 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing 2 weeks later. Judge uncompromising. Karen 7 years state prison for aggravated assault pattern of abuse, $180,000 restitution. Richard 5 years. Victoria 3 years plus 5 years probation, permanent social media ban, $95,000 restitution. You filmed yourselves committing these crimes, distributed the footage, showed zero remorse until consequences. This sentence deters others. While they served time, my company exploded. 63 employees, motor chair 2.0 with AI navigation valuation, 167,040,000 devices sold worldwide. I met Marcus through advocacy work. He uses a wheelchair, never once questioned my good days, bad days, crutches, or chair. My leg function declined. The forced exertion accelerated progression, 18 months. I use the wheelchair full-time now. Some call it sad. I call it freedom. No more fighting my body. Just accommodating, thriving. A few neighbors who stayed silent during the abuse tried apologizing. Some I accepted back. Uncle Marco volunteers at Adaptive Access Testing Products. Aunt Sophia helps with community outreach. They earned it through real support. Others stayed estranged. Silence during abuse is complicity. Last month, I spoke at a disability rights conference, 500 people. I showed the edited potluck video, protecting privacy, but clear on the assault. The room cried. I told them what I wish someone told me 6 years ago. Your disability is real, even when an HOA Karen denies it. Your mobility aids aren't props, they're medical necessities. Anyone who removes them mocks them or forces you without them isn't helping, they're assaulting you. Document everything. Record everything. Because sometimes the only way to prove abuse is letting abusers document themselves. Build your life anyway. Build your success anyway. And when they realize they were wrong, you don't have to forgive. You just keep existing beautifully on your own terms. The standing ovation came from people raising canes, walkers, chairs in solidarity. Participation looks different for everyone. As for the Whitfields, they're still serving. Their perfect HOA empire crumbled. Karen lost her president title, the board dissolved in scandal. The community voted new rules, actual ADA compliance, after the lawsuit. My house now has the most beautiful accessible ramp painted to match every covenant, and no one dares complain. Sometimes people ask if I regret pressing charges if prison was too harsh. The answer is no. They showed no mercy when they removed my ramp. No mercy when they filmed my falls. No mercy when they posted videos calling me a burden. No mercy when they forced me to walk until my muscles failed and I cracked a rib on their clubhouse floor. Why show mercy they never offered? They wanted proof I was faking. They got proof of their own crimes instead. That's not revenge. That's justice. That's a jury saying guilty in 10 minutes. I'm not a faker. I'm not weak. I'm not a burden. I'm a CEO, a disabled innovator, a survivor who built an empire while her HOA board documented their own felonies trying to prove she wasn't really disabled. And if Karen or the Whitfields ever see this story when they get out, I hope they finally understand. You didn't expose my lie. You exposed your cruelty. You didn't prove I was faking. You proved you were dangerous. And the video you filmed thinking it would destroy me became the evidence that destroyed you instead. If you've ever had to prove your disability was real to people who should have believed you, tell me in the comments. What would you have done? And if you're dealing with an HOA Karen right now who won't accept your condition, document everything. Get medical pros on your side. Know your rights. Remember your disability stays real even when they deny it. Their denial doesn't change your body, it reveals their character. Subscribe for more HOA Karen stories because sometimes the best response to being called a faker is letting them document their own crimes while you quietly build an empire that outshines their entire neighborhood. The aftermath rolled on like sweet justice. The HOA was forced to rewrite every covenant. New accessibility guidelines passed unanimously after the scandal. No more aesthetic-only excuses. Ramps matching community colors became standard. Reserved parking for disabled residents no longer called special treatment. Karen's legacy became a cautionary tale whispered at every meeting. Don't be like the Whitfields. My company kept growing. We launched international distribution, 18 countries. I personally donated motor chairs to local clinics, including the one Uncle Marco worked at. He now proudly shows clients. This came from the woman the old board tried to break. The irony never gets old. Marcus and I moved into a bigger accessible home outside the old gates. No HOA, just open space and real neighbors. On days my legs cooperate, we walk short paths together. On others, we roll side by side laughing about the old days. He understands invisible illness better than anyone. Never once suggested I try harder. Good days, bad days, crutches, chair, all valid. That's love. Extended community members who'd stayed quiet during the worst sent apology letters, some with checks for restitution above what the court ordered. I accepted a few, donated the rest to disability legal funds. Silence during abuse is complicity, but genuine change deserves a second chance. Last year, I keynote the National Disability Conference again. This time, I brought the Modu chair prototype that started everything. 500 people cheered when I said, paper beats promises, evidence beats denial, and your own cameras will always beat your lies. The room erupted. Canes raised, walkers lifted, chairs spun in celebration. Back in Sunnyvale, the old clubhouse now bears a small plaque I insisted on anonymously. Accessibility funded by a resident who was told she didn't need it. No one knows it's me, but every time Karen's old allies drive past, they see it. Small satisfactions add up. The Whitfields serve their time. Restraining orders still active even behind bars. I haven't visited, never will. Their lives are forever changed by their own recordings, their own cruelty, their own evidence. Sometimes people ask if I feel bad. The answer stays no. They filmed me falling, laughed while I hit the floor 3 times, and posted it thinking the world would side with them. The world sided with facts instead. I still get messages from disabled folks in HOA hell. My board says my ramp is ugly. They fine me for visible crutches. I reply the same every time. document, record, consult a lawyer build anyway. Because empires rise quietly while power trips fall loudly. My leg function continues its slow march, but I adapt faster. The MotoChair 2.0 has voice navigation, seamless transfers. I designed the upgrades while using it daily. That's the beauty. Lived experience drives innovation. The company that started in a bedroom now funds research in a slowing dystrophy progression. One day, maybe fewer people will face what I did. Until then, I keep telling the story. So if you're watching this and your HOA Karen is currently doubting your diagnosis, hiding your AIDS, or filming your struggles, remember this. Let them create the evidence. Let them dig their own hole with their own cameras. Because one day the video they thought would destroy you becomes the video that destroys them. You're not faking. You're not weak. You are building something they could never imagine while they enforce rules no one asked for. Paper beats promises. Evidence beats denial. And your survival? That beats everything. Thanks for watching. If this HOA Karen story made you furious, then satisfied, drop a like, subscribe, and share your own neighborhood nightmare in the comments. Next week, another true remake. The HOA president who banned holiday lights, then got sued by the entire block. You won't want to miss it. Stay strong, stay documented, and remember your mobility aids are never props, they're power. See you in the next one.